Let's talk about kingdoms of women while I work on this concept art. There are a lot of fantasy stories and stories from mythology which feature kingdoms made up of just women. The Kingdom of Women from Journey to the West, the Amazons from Greek myth, the Gerudo from Zelda, etc., etc. But one thing I've always wondered about is how gender would present itself in a sufficiently isolated kingdom of exclusively women. Because if these women are in close trade with a kingdom where men exist, or if they need to venture out into such kingdoms to proliferate the species, it would make sense that these women would be aware of and even occasionally adopt signatures of femininity from these mixed-sex spaces. But if these women don't need men to reproduce, or if they just live on an island somewhere like the Amazons from Wonder Woman, would they really be especially feminine as we conceive it? Or would terms like feminine and masculine even have meaning to them? If there's no differentiation between the sexes, then would they even have a concept of gender like we know it? Because while they might have animals with different sexes which reproduce the classic way, I don't think they would necessarily ascribe different personalities to those animals based on their junk, like we do. I don't think they would think much about the differences beyond what was necessary for reproduction. And I think things like sexual dimorphism would be a really big novelty to them, and I'd hazard to guess the idea that your physical sex dictating your roles in life and your abilities and even the clothes you wear would be utterly baffling to them. Like the sort of concept you can't even get your head around. I don't even think they'd be able to differentiate a male human from a female human without a lot of practice. I also don't think they'd even consider themselves women. I don't think those kinds of gender signifiers would play a real role in the language, because everyone is a woman. They just refer to themselves as humans or people. Maybe male and female would exist to differentiate the sexes of animals, but I don't imagine the women would use them to refer to themselves unless they were discussing their role in the outside world, which they'd probably consider extremely strange. If anything, I think the differences in wealth or class would be the major dividing lines in the society. Because humans do love putting things into boxes, I think a kingdom of exclusively women would have a pretty gnarly caste system. But what do you think?